Hello students, in the last session we have studied about features of Java. In today's session we will discuss difference between C and Java, and we will also discuss about Java environment. So let's start. Java was modeled after C and C++ languages, even though it differs from C and C++ in many ways. Java does not incorporate a number of features available in C and C++. So let's see the difference between Java and C. Java is a lot like C, but the major difference between Java and C is that Java is an object-oriented language and has mechanism to define classes and objects. Now, to make Java simple and safe, the Java team did not include some of the features from C language in Java. So let's see these differences in detail here. Okay, the first is Java does not include C unique statement keywords like goto, size of, and typedef. In C programming languages, you might have used these keywords. You might have used goto, you would have used size of and typedef. These keywords are not used in Java programming language. Java does not contain the data types struct, union, and enum. In C you have used structure, union, and enumeration types, but there are no such types in Java programming language. The next difference is Java does not define the type modifier keywords like auto, extern, register, signed, and unsigned. Even those keywords are not part of Java. You might have used some of those keywords in C programming language. You might have used signed and unsigned. So signed and unsigned keywords are used to define variables with sign or without sign. For example, if you're creating a variable of type int, that is, you declare int of say a, by default this a is of type signed. It has a keyword that is signed. That means it is signed integer. That simply means this a can store both positive as well as negative numbers. But if I declare this int a as unsigned, that is unsigned int a, that simply means this a can only have positive values. It cannot store negative values. But there is no such keyword used in Java. In Java, all the variables are considered as signed variables. The next difference is Java does not support an explicit pointer type. As you have declared pointers in C programming language, you cannot use pointers in Java programming language. Explicit pointers cannot be used and cannot be declared in Java programming language. Java does use pointers internally, but explicitly a programmer cannot declare a pointer in Java programming language. Next difference, Java does not have a preprocessor, and therefore we cannot use preprocessor statements like hash include, hash define, hash ifdef. So these are preprocessor directives which are used in C programming, and no such directives are used in Java. Next is Java requires that the function with no argument should be declared with empty parenthesis and not with the void keyword. Like in C program, if you are declaring a function, say you are writing a function add, say there is a function add, add, so function always has brackets, and suppose this function is not taking any arguments, that means you have to declare this function as void. So there should be a keyword void inside the brackets of your function, but there is no such thing in case of Java. If you have a function which is not taking any argument, you can simply declare the brackets open and close. There is no need to use a keyword void inside it. Okay, the next difference is Java adds new operators such as instance of, and this is right shift with zero fill operator. This operator is called as right shift with zero fill. These are some new operators which have been added in Java, but there are no such operators available in C programming. What are those operators, instance of and right shift with zero fill? That we will study later in the syllabus. So these are some differences between Java and C programming language. So let's discuss the next topic, that is environment, Java environment. Java environment includes a large number of development tools and hundreds of classes and methods. The development tools are part of the system known as Java Development Kit, whereas classes and methods are part of the Java Standard Library, so which is in short called as JSL, also known as Application Programming Interfaces, that is API. So Java environment generally includes JDK and APIs. So let's discuss JDK and APIs one by one. So JDK stands for Java Development Kit. So the Java Development Kit comes with a collection of tools that are used for developing and running Java programs. Looking at this, you might have known that to write a Java program, to write and execute Java program, what is needed is Java Development Kit. If you want to write a Java program on your computer and you want to execute it, you need to install the JDK software. And this JDK software includes so many tools which allows you to write and execute the programs. So let's see which are the tools included in JDK. So JDK includes a tool called as Applet Weaver. So this Applet Weaver enables us to run Java applets. So you can execute Java applets by using Applet Weaver. So Applet Weaver generally it is used to test your applet. In Java, we can create one special type of application called as applets, which runs on the internet. To test these applets, we can use applet viewer, or you can say to execute applet, you can use applet viewer. Next is Java C. It is a Java compiler. So the Java compiler, which translates Java source code to bytecode files that the interpreter can understand. So Java C, it is a command which is used to compile Java program into a intermediate code, that is bytecode. Like you compile your C program by using a command or using an application called as GCC. In Linux, you compile your C program by using GCC space the name of your program. Same way, in Java, we have a tool, or you can say an application or a command, which can be used to compile a Java program. That command is Java C. And in Java, the compiler will not convert a source code to machine code, but source code is converted into bytecode. Okay, next tool is Java, and that is an interpreter. So Java interpreter it is, which runs your applications by reading and interpreting the bytecode files. So compiler converts your program into bytecode, and that bytecode is executed by the Java command or Java tool. So once you have your compiled bytecode file, that bytecode file you can execute by using a command called as Java. So later on, when we actually start developing the Java program, we are going to use all these commands. Next, Java P. So this is Java disassembler, which enables us to convert bytecode files into a program description. So you can again convert your bytecode files into a program description by using a Java P tool. Like in Java C, we convert source code to bytecode, but the same bytecode can again be converted into a program description or a program by using Java P tool. So that is Java P. The next one is Java H. So Java H produces header files for use with native methods. So as I have said earlier, Java is extensible, and Java can use functions which are defined in other programming languages, like you can use functions defined in C programming languages. So all those headers from C programming languages can be generated or produced with a command called as Java H. Then we have Java Doc. So Java Doc, it creates HTML format documentation from Java source code files. So you can create an HTML document for your Java source code file, which includes a detailed description about your Java source code program. So that is Java Doc. Next is JDB, which is Java Debugger, which helps us find errors in our program. So you can use this debugger to find errors in your program. So these are some tools which are used in which are included in Java development kit, which can be used to develop or to write and execute your Java program. Out of these tools, we will be using Applet Viewer, Java C, and Java in our programs. Okay, this is about JDK. Next is APA, that is Application Programming interface. The Java Standard Library or the API includes hundreds of classes and methods grouped into several functional packages. These packages or API, it is used to develop Java program, or you can say it simplifies development of Java programs. The packages which are used in Java program contains some predefined set of classes which can be used in our program. Like you have used some libraries in C program. Initially you include some libraries, say you include stdio.h. So this stdio.h includes some functions which can be used in your program. For example, you use functions like printf and scanf in your C program, and these functions are defined in the header file, that is stdio.h. Means you are not writing these functions in your program, you are only using these functions. You are using print function, you are using scanf function. But where these functions have been declared, where these functions have been defined, these functions have been defined in a library file, or you call it as header file, that is stdio.h. So what does header file provides or libraries provides? It provides you with some predefined code, or the code which is defined there can be reused in your programs. Same way, Java also contains some packages which includes predefined code, and that code can be used in your programs. So Java includes so many predefined packages which can be used in your program, and which makes writing Java programs very simple. So the commonly used packages in Java are language support package, and this is a collection of classes and methods required for implementing basic features of Java. This package, it is required for basic features of Java. All the programs which we write in Java by default includes this package. By default, all Java programs import language support package, and this package generally contains the methods for printing and printing messages on the console. Then we have utility packages. It is a collection of classes to provide utility functions such as date and time functions are provided from utility packages. Then we have packages for input output related, and this is also a collection of classes required for input output manipulation. So reading from different sources and writing to different sources by using Java program, it is possible by using this input and output packages. Then we have networking packages in Java, which helps us communicating with other computers via internet or network. So you can write network application in Java by using these packages. These packages provide predefined classes, and using those classes you can easily develop network applications in Java. Then you have packages like AWT. AWT stands for Abstract Windowing Toolkit. Again, it contains packages to create graphical user interface in Java. If you want to create a graphical application generally includes buttons, text boxes and menus and all. Such type of applications can be created in Java with the help of AWT package. Then we have a package that is applet package. So this includes set of classes that allows you to create Java applets. As I've explained, Java applets are special Java programs which are executed on the internet. So such programs you can create by using the package that is applet package. So this is about application programming interface or API. So these are the things which are included in Java API. So next thing which we will discuss, it is Java runtime environment. So which is in short called as JRE, Java runtime environment. So Java runtime environment actually it facilitates the execution of Java program, and it primarily consists of the following things. So this helps for the execution of Java program, and it includes the following things. It includes Java virtual machine, and this Java virtual machine, it is a program that interprets the intermediate bytecode and generates the desired output. It is because of bytecode and this JVM concept that programs written in Java are highly portable. Now this JVM actually makes Java a portable language. The Java compiler converts the source code into a bytecode, and that bytecode is actually executed by the JVM, that is Java virtual machine, takes the bytecode, converts it into machine code and executes it. Again, Java virtual machine includes an interpreter using which it converts it into machine code and executes it. It also contains, so JRE also contains runtime class libraries. These are some set of core class libraries that are required for the execution of Java program. So there are some runtime class libraries which can also be used while execution of your Java program. That is, these libraries are also part of JRE. We have user interface toolkits like AWT, as I mentioned in the last thing, AWT and Swing. These toolkits support varied input methods for the users to interact with the application. When you are going for graphical user interfaces, GUI applications, where user interacts with the application, these user interface toolkits will help in that case. Then it contains some development deployment technologies. So JRE comprises the following key deployment technologies. It includes deployment technologies like Java plugin. It includes Java plugin that enables the execution of Java applet on the browser. So Java plugins are used by the browser to execute the Java applets, and it also has one more deployment technology, that is Java Web Start. And this Web Start enables remote deployment of an application. With Web Start, user can launch an application directly from the web browser without going through the installation procedure. That simply means you can execute a Java application or a program through a web browser. No need to install that application on your computer. You can have that application installed on other remote computer, and that can be used directly by using a web browser if you have Java Web Start. So these are this is about Java runtime environment, and that's it in today's session. Thank you very much.